Hey guys, Laura at Teal House Farm here. Welcome back. And today I'm going to show you something that a lot of you have been requesting on our Instagram or on our Facebook. And that is my recipe for a dry homemade mix to replace your condensed cream of whatever soups. And so this is like your Campbell's cream of mushroom, cream of chicken, cream of celery. What I do now is I make this giant half-gallon jar worth of just cream of ... base. And I can use that to replace those 3 soup cans, really. And I'm going to show you the variations too. So if you want to make one that's just for cream of mushroom or cream of chicken or cream of celery, I'll show you how to do that. I make one that's versatile for all 3, and then I add the 1 extra ingredient for whatever kind of soup I want to replace when I'm actually using it. That way I don't have 3 separate jars. I just have this versatile single jar. So you might be wondering why go through the effort of making this. The condensed cream of whatever soups are actually really not that expensive. And you just pop open the can and it's ready to go. Why go through this trouble? If you've been watching us for a little bit, you'll know that recently we've really been on a journey to go on a whole foods type diet. A lot of it is driven for our daughter who has a lot of just special medical needs. And we're trying to eliminate things from her diet that are really linked to brain inflammation that help hopefully prevent her seizures, some behavior issues, just to generally make her brain work better and have fewer what I would call poor neurological days. I know that's not a good description, but I think if you have a special needs child, especially one where you struggle with a brain injury or something that relates to the brain, you know what I mean, where not all days are neurologically the same, right? And your child can have bad days where things are worse. And our neurologist, one of them, really encouraged us to look at her diet, amongst other things. She does have medicines as well, but to just help her have more good days. And so we have removed all added sugars, we have removed white flours, we have removed all artificial preservatives and colors from her diet. And really just looking at doing whole foods, real focus on a lot of vegetables and like meat proteins and things like that. We haven't taken dairy out, and so this recipe does have dairy in it. If you're dairy free, you could mess around with substitutes, and I can't promise you how they'll work because I've never tried them. But this does take out the preservatives and I think a little bit of sugar that is in the condensed recipes. When you buy the can of condensed soup, it also has just an obscene amount of salt in it, and this has less salt in it. And so here we go. Let's go ahead and I'll show you everything you need. I will tell you this list is a little bit long, and the first time I made it, I was like, is it worth it spending all these money on spices? But it is, because for this recipe, a little bit goes a long way. And so you're gonna buy this and you're gonna have your spices on your shelf, and you can make lots and lots of batches before you have to buy more. This right here is a half-gallon jar, which is 3 recipes. I'll show you just a single recipe, which will probably be more practical if you have a smaller family. And then after I show you the recipe and how we put it all together, I will show you one of my favorite ways to use it, which is a crockpot recipe, to give you an idea of how you take this dry mix and are able to replace your 3 different common cream of soups. Here's the lineup of ingredients. You need 2 cups of dry milk powder, and you can use whatever kind that you would like. Took us a bit of searching to find a good quality one. There's just so many to choose from when you look online. There's whole fat, non-fat. It's really what you want for your family, but it needs to be a dry milk powder. Again, if you need to be dairy-free, you would need to do some Googling to find what good options are. I'm pretty sure there is something out there you could substitute. You need 1/2 of a cup of dried potato flakes. Again, there's good quality ones out there and bad quality ones. You just need to do a little bit of looking to find what's right for you. And then spices, we need lots. So we have parsley flakes. We have chopped dried onion. So that is the big pieces of the dried onion. We have celery seed. Celery flakes work fine too. We have garlic powder, onion powder, marjoram, ground white pepper. And this is really a color difference. If you want to use black pepper, you could use that. It's just going to be visible in the jar. And then we just have some regular old table salt. The final thing you need that I apologize, forgot to put in the lineup when I set it out, is the cornstarch. Cornstarch is kind of a touchy subject with some nutritional people. You could use arrowroot powder instead. Cornstarch is much cheaper. We're using cornstarch here. And now let's take all that and put it together. Using it, and tomorrow I'm going to use it in my crock pot, and I'll show you that recipe in just a minute. We'll fast forward to tomorrow. But the general rule, okay, for using it is you do 2/3 of a cup of mix to 1 cup of broth of your choice to go ahead and replace your condensed cream of soup mix. So if you're wanting, to use a condensed cream of soup mix and like rehydrated or whatever the correct word is, where you would add to it like the jar, like the can, follow the directions on the can, you do the 2/3 a cup to 1 cup plus whatever a can would normally tell you to do, which is like a can full of milk or water, right? I can't remember off the top of my head. That would get you the rehydrated type. But most recipes that I've ever encountered, you use the condensed cream of soup mix just as it is, like in your crock pot or in your oven. So you would do 2/3 cup of your dry mix, and you'll add 1 cup of the broth of your choice. So if I'm wanting cream of chicken, I'll use chicken broth, right? If I'm wanting cream of mushroom, I'll use like a vegetable broth. Now I did say I'll talk to you specifically about how to make this more taste specific for the type of cream of soup you're wanting to replace. So if I'm wanting to make cream of chicken soup, I'll add some chicken bouillon as well as the broth. If I want to make cream of mushroom soup, I'm going to add some either dehydrated or even regular mushroom pieces. If I don't have any dried mushrooms on hand, I can use some of my canned mushrooms. And for the cream of celery, I'll add some more celery flakes. For what I like, I generally do is I do the 2/3 cups mix, 1 cup chicken broth, plus like maybe like 2 teaspoons-ish, I don't really measure it, kind of sprinkle in, of chicken bouillon, and that makes my cream of chicken. For the cream of mushroom, I will do the 2/3 cup of the dry mix, 1 cup of vegetable broth, and I will add like 1/4 cup of diced mushrooms, either like dried mushrooms or canned mushrooms that I've dried up to give that flavor. I have actually never tried to replace cream of celery, but I would imagine that I would probably use about 2 teaspoons of celery flakes or seeds to get that flavor right. My other thing is, the first time I used it, I noticed trying to get it mixed together with the broth, it was a little bit chunky. And so using a whisk and really getting a fast motion going really helped to dissolve everything into that broth. Also, if your broth, if you warm it up just a little bit, that helps too, but that's usually an extra step for me I don't want to take. Plus, if it's going in the crock pot anyway, it's going to get warm and then it'll kind of whisk together better. So that's how you make it. Let's fast forward to tomorrow. I'll show you my favorite crock pot recipe, and I'll show you how it really does replace the cream of soup mix. Because I was a little skeptical at first, and we were trying to update our diet, and I was like, oh, but we have so many of these recipes that we love that use the Campbell's cream of soup mix. Am I going to destroy them all with this dried mix? And then it did not at all. It tastes just as good. It's still very simple to use. So let's go to tomorrow, and I'll show you one of my favorites. Okay, next day, we're gonna put dinner in the crock pot before we leave the house here. We're trying to run out real fast. We got a bunch of appointments today. So what we need is, we're gonna need 1.5 cups of the mix we made. We're going to need 1 quart of broth. This is beef broth. We have 3 pork steaks. We have some diced onions. And since we're going to be gone all day, we are also going to use our canning pantry. We're gonna make mashed potatoes from this canned potatoes, which will be real fast. And we'll do some honey carrots from these canned carrots, because that way we can just get home, pop open some cans, have everything ready to go in less than 15 minutes. We are going to also add 2 jars of our home canned mushrooms. If you don't like mushrooms, you can leave it out, but again, this is gonna give it that nice gravy flavor like you use the canned cream of mushroom. You ready, Ivy? Let's go. like this, crock pot on low for about 8 hours is what we do. The pork steaks will fall apart, and so what you end up is this like smothered gravy pork and mushrooms that we'll pour over our mashed potatoes, wherever that jar is. But I think I'm also going to add some of our dry ranch mix today too. I do this sometimes, not every time. This is it. It just adds a little extra kick to the gravy. You can use, this is going to be about 2 tablespoons worth of this, which is the same as 1 packet. If you are using a pre-made packet, this is our homemade ranch mix. We're just going to sprinkle that on top. It just adds a little extra kick to the gravy, which we like, but it's just fine without it. All right, we're plugged in on low. We'll be back this afternoon, early evening, and it should be ready to go. And we'll fix up our mashed potatoes and our carrots real quick, and we'll have a nice hot dinner with our pre-made mixes all on the table ready to go. Fun end to the vlog. Apparently we blew a fuse in the kitchen because the crock pot has been on and plugged in for 8 hours and it is not working. So I don't have a final product to show you. I'm really sorry. It is a delicious recipe. It makes a smothered pork steak that it breaks it up into pieces and you pour it over mashed potatoes. But now it is 4 o'clock and I have nothing for dinner, so we're gonna go raid the canning pantry. Oh, I look so tired too, don't I? Oh, what a long day. We're gonna go raid the canning pantry and see what we can find. Anyway, enjoy the dry cream of soup mix. It is very good. It has been a great addition to our pantry. We will see you all next time. Say bye.
Bye.